Hey everybody, it's Gilly Monster. I'm back for episode 2 of Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine. So I'm overlapping here a little bit because this is the most previous save, but get ready to pick up a device called a jump pack. Basically, it's exactly what it sounds like. It takes this rather grounded Space Marine, gives them the ability to move very quickly over large distances, and especially in the vertical, like so.
Take to the high ground, Captain.
Hold down the evade button, it actually launches you forward in a dash movement, and then if you hold it down for longer, it shoots you up vertically. Yep, and there's the enemy. Switch over to machine gun. Got this guy real quick. I don't know why this guy's up here by himself. Nobody up. A little bit of physics glitch. Ow. Gotta figure out where this guy is. And shatter some skulls. So yeah, obviously this is a little bit of a departure from the usual running around on foot. But no, in the first time I actually tried to record this episode, I went playing way past this point, so it's not really a surprise what's getting ready to happen. So sorry if I'm not exactly too talkative right now. I'm still working on my ability to make one, not get stuck on the environment, and two, come up with interesting stuff to talk about while I play. I actually don't know, like, really what kind of what brought me to start making YouTube videos. Aside from I just wanted to share some of my stuff. Where are we? And I leave my fellows completely unharmed. I don't remember what's over here, if there's anything over here. Okay, no, nothing over there. I don't know why, but I always love the jumping sequences of games more than like outright flight. Shatter your face. Let's also kill these guys. Growing up, like, I used to think like this kind of violence in a game was horrible, and now it's just, with games, it's become so commonplace.
Where's the rock at last?
No room for that jump pack, Captain.
What are you talking about? There's plenty of room.
Right into the gun force.
So for the most part, while I'm going through this video, I'm going to try and like cut out parts where I'm just running from point A to point B like this, just because it really kind of slows down. It makes the video unnecessarily longer, and it just makes it boring. So, but I still want to be able to keep the majority of the story intact.
Bring the shooters!
So I did a little bit of reading up on the Orks, and it's like they have pretty much,
This fortress is
depending on...
swarming with orcs. Clearing this place will take days.
Those guardsmen cannot survive that long. We find a way to destroy the gun.
Okay, before I was so rudely interrupted, did a little bit of reading up on the Orks, and they basically have a innate, like, almost instinct for whatever their role happens to be. So, like, if they're, okay, so basically fire sticky grenades. Basically they have, like, an innate understanding of whatever it is their role is. They don't need to go to school for anything. They don't struggle to learn anything. If they're meant for combat, it's something that comes naturally to them. If they're meant for, like, they say, maintaining weapons and gear. Pretty handy little weapon. Doesn't make much sense that they have like cables that go to the armory doors on the outside.
Lockdown in effect.
Look here, Captain. Melter charges.
Put those in the right place, and this whole fortress.
I just
will
love
come
the
down.
style of the armor.
We could put the charge on one of the gun shells.
It looks functional,
The
but it's got
Andros,
like
you do
it's got
the
tasteful
chapter, right?
decorations all over it. I think they really nailed it. Whoever it was actually designed this stuff. I don't know what we got. Waste all that ammo right off the bat. Boink. No, it doesn't. Let's have some fun. What, you just kind of hanging back, bro? I don't know why he wasn't doing nothing. You haven't had a chance to look up the Warhammer 40k stuff, you really just should just do it. Just go and look it up, you know, just kind of get experience of what it is, but...
Shell storage is
I would
below.
say it's almost as popular as World of Warcraft. I don't get why I always have to be the one to press the button. Well,
Access
a little bit more
restricted to upper decks.
even for me. But it's weird, like these guys, like the AI in this game is really good. Like enemies will like shoot and they'll take cover and they'll run from grenades, and if you start shooting at them, they'll like with a sniper rifle take cover. And like the guys that follow you around are pretty. I guess the AI is pretty good too. Like they're not overly helpful, but they also actually do help. And what this is over here, this little floating thing, is basically kind of like the only collectible that goes for the campaign. It's like an audio log.
Hold on, Captain. Get me a medipack.
A medipack? Oh, nope. Got more of the explosive squigs. Blow up his face, please. heard that. Where are you?
Smash those space marines!
Yeah. Those little things are a pain in the butt. There we go. Especially when they actually get stuck inside of a swarm. Like a swarm of like the smaller enemies, because you will literally shoot every enemy except for the squig. It's like it gets right up next to you, it gives a little howl, and then it explodes. Yeah, I had to do that.
Here, Captain. We need to get the shell into that loader.
Like, the game starts out easy enough, but the enemies, like, they get pretty tough pretty quick, even on easy mode. Like I said, I don't really go through a game with the with the intention of doing the hardest difficulty and being a completionist and all that. For me, it's more about the entertainment factor and the story than it is to
Now to move the shell into place.
like try to become, part of the Gamer Hall of Fame, as it were. That is a really big shell, especially considering my Space Marine's like 7.5 feet tall. If not bigger.
With luck, the Orks will feed it right into the gun's chamber.
We cannot rely on luck for this, Sir Donis.
It's pretty cool because
Follow the
every
shell
single
up
one of
and
these
make sure it reaches its destination.
these Space Marines is like 200 years old, if not older than that. Like, they get taken as a normal child when they're like, I think it's like between like 10 and 16, like basically right as they're getting ready, either in the middle of puberty or right before they start. I can waste ammo. And then they go through like a whole bunch of like physical augmentation, psychological and chemical conditioning. And even then, like, a lot of them don't make it. And the standards for these guys is like retardedly high.
We seem to avoid these.
Really? I don't know how he hit me from halfway across the room, but that was BS. Not that it matters much. Going up. Actually, I think we're going. Yeah, we're going up.
Keep clear.
I got a chance to play the multiplayer before Relic went bankrupt, and the multiplayer on this game basically shut down. And it was actually surprisingly really fun and very well balanced, considering the overall. I guess you could say people thought the material in this game, like the storyline and stuff, was kind of a disappointment, which to me it's not. To me, I mean, it's awesome. But the multiplayer was, I think, really kind of a sleeper hit. Actually, what do I got? It was really just kind of a sleeper hit. And, it really didn't get the fanfare that it deserved. You could unlock armor pieces, you'd unlock weapon upgrades and suit upgrades and all this different stuff. And you really got an idea of who it was that had been playing for a while, rather than, and it was actually decent, rather than just being one of the people, collectively known as a tryhard. Really? You actually had to be decent and attain different standards. possible. Back here and rearm. And that is. I don't know, I've never gone back this far. Okay, yeah, cool. I can. Sweet. Go ahead and stock. Get moving again. Excuse me. Overall, I think this game, the sum is more than the whole, you know, it's more than its parts combined into making. It's just got a character that I love. And it's just good dumb fun. With a theme that, you know, it's not entirely, you know, overused. Like you've got your normal Call of Duty stuff every, you know, 6 months it seems like they're releasing a new Call of Duty. And now they're starting to recycle, going back to the Second World War. Imagine that. But they're gonna, you know, I just really hope that they don't. Call of Duty, I think, just needs to go on hiatus for a few years. You know, get new staff, new people, and then, you know, come back and make even more money. If that makes sense. Last one I played was Advanced Warfare, and it was fun because it added the mobility aspect of it, but it's just the culture stayed the same. You know, the crappy trash talking culture of Call of Duty really did follow it all the way. You know, it followed it everywhere, and it really stinks.
Not then.
Authorization is Darcy's outcome. The Emperor be with you, Space Marine.
Okay, so basically, this game, like a lot of other action games, kind of has like the, I guess, the overpowered modes, which I had to use earlier in order to survive, and then there's this one which is basically the same thing, just using rifles and pistols and whatever weapon you happen to be holding. So, and I think that's actually it for the power, like the power-ups. I don't like it.
Orks have pulled it out of sequence.
Then we put it back.
Gun back.
Get the shell into that loader. I will cover you.
At least now I get to do, like I did the pushing when it was peaceful. Now I do the covering when it's violent. You said there's an orc charge here somewhere. Where'd they go?
Incoming.
This switch on the power.
Then it starts doing that weird kind of audio glitch. Not sure why though.
Enemy sighted.
Boot you in the face, and then break your face. Really? I am not screwing around with you. Yeah, you learn to quickly prioritize like the bigger targets, especially when they're guys like the big orc that runs around with the club.
Firing now.
Hold the line.
Nah, I figured I'd let him go. Another thing that really makes the Orks like really terrifying and kind of underplayed by the video game is the fact that, according to some of the lore, these like they're almost like a combination of an animal and a fungus, which means that they can withstand ridiculously high amounts of damage against, you know, getting hit with explosive shells and walking it off. But even if you manage to suppress one of their invasions, because of the way they reproduce by spreading reproductive spores when they die, they can reinvade something, you know, years later after all the spores and stuff have grown into full-fledged orcs and orc culture.
The guardsmen will get their supplies now.
Eventually I want to start getting in.
You are a man of your word, my lord.
There's a big bridge.
What is your situation, Lieutenant?
We're gathering our wounded and are heading to the Andres habitation block to establish an outpost. With the cannon down, our support craft will land there.
Very well. My battle brothers and I must secure any operational Warlord-class Titans before the Orcs can loot them.
Good luck.
Okay. Just listen to that for a minute. The music in this game is kick-ass too. Look at like all like the different little details and stuff. There's all like the artwork, the textures, and you can tell just how religiously devoted this entire culture is because everything looks like a cathedral, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Shoot, leg it. Where are you going?
Time to die, humans!
Oh. Really? My scope isn't calibrated. Alright. Keep going. Alrighty. See what we got going on over here.
What in Williman's name is that? Did the lieutenant not say these tracks went to the complex House of the Titans?
That thing is a battering ram.
And that what you just saw, aside from me shooting the squig and making him blow up. Ah! I've never been good with the sniper rifle type weapons. Never. Apparently this thing loses power pretty quick. There we go. Come on. Choke point. This guy must hit like a freight train to be able to splatter somebody like that.
Space Marines! Kill them! Run for it! Crush the Space Marines! Come and get me, Space Marines! Space Marines!
I'd almost say, considering its role, the machine gun is more effective than the sniper rifle. At least for me it is. At least for me it seems like it is. Oh, then again, I might just be more of a machine gun person. Guys wanna keep trying that? Everything's fully reloaded, close to it, and move on. You know, I think what would have made this game just a tad bit better is if they had made the environment a little bit more functional instead of just adding random piles of scrap. Instead of just adding random piles of scrap. Like, if maybe these people had stopped what they were doing in the middle of it. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, yeah, you got gantry cranes and everything, but this stuff, it looks too constrictive. It looks too organized while trying to look unorganized. I mean, unless the Orks did this, which could be a thing. I don't know if it is or not. Alright. If you want to keep doing that, you go right ahead. I feel like there's a little bit of lag when I pull the trigger. I don't know why. Boom. Really? Just gonna wait for that little guy to come down here.
Humans to kill.
Oh no. I think it's taking cover. What the heck? Okay, who are you fighting back here? Took you long enough. Nice to know you got my back. There we go. Hop on board. I mean, just their greaves,
Now to
and that's the
stop
part
this
that protects
ram.
their shins.
Time to impact.
No more than 6 minutes.
Time
Alright, let's see if I can do it in 6 minutes or less. Probably not. Get away from me. Okay. Oh, guys, dead. Oh. Not what I wanted. Really? Oh, that's why. Deal with you. Accidentally pressed the analog button for my gamepad. Really? Same thing to you. Complications arose, ensued. Were overcome. All the ammo I can.
So now it's time to impact.
This train is really hauling some butt.
Bolts of fire cannot penetrate its armor.
These trains have point defense turrets.
I wish there was a way to control what kind of executions that I did, but I think whatever mod potential this game had died when Relic did. Nope.
Kill the spice. More humans to kill.
weapon.
Kill them space marines!
The controls in this game aren't exactly the most precise thing in the world. Not exactly the most precise thing in the world. That and the gamepad, which what I'm using, the Logitech F310, is it's kind of funky. It's like a mock PlayStation controller. And this is actually a plasma cannon. Cover as much as I can. And apparently this thing can shoot through solid objects. Charge already. The cool thing about this plasma cannon is it actually has like a charge shot. Yeah, those bolts just travel retardedly slow. But it does pack a punch. Run! Just in time. Okay. After many life-threatening actions later,
The Manufactorum still holds.
Some Imperial Guard units made it here after all.
They cannot hold for long. We must hurry.
but let us walk as long as you look cool. But yeah, just even this is just still the first level. At least that's what it feels like. Maybe it's just because of the setting, but it's just such a I don't know. This world, this whole entire design has such like character behind it. But I mean, even look at that crane. Look at the amount of architecture, the amount of artwork that went into designing that thing in the first place. And imagine what that would look like if it were real. But anyway, that's enough gushing over the environment. I think that's actually where I'm going to cut it off for the second episode. Thank you all very much for joining me. And so far so good. This is, aside from Fallout 3, this is the most episodes I've done for one, which means that I did 2 instead of just 1 episode worth of playthrough like I did for X-Wing Alliance. I plan on picking that up again when I have the time. I just don't know when it'll be. But once again, thank you all very much for joining me, and I will see you on the next video.